Alright, what's up fam? So I'm hanging out here in this little closet, walk-in closet thing that's got all our junk in it. We're at an Airbnb on the road, doing a little family time, getting away time, but I still have a radio program. I've alluded to several times that I do some of that, and so I have to actually mix basically what amounts to a live concert from the road, and so I'm going to be doing that, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to walk through like how that actually happens without having to bring along a giant like production truck or whatever. So first things first, I'm in this space and I've got to download from my client and bring them in here, and we're going to mix them down in this computer. So the very first thing I got to do is just download all the files and put them into this drive. So I'm going to get started on that, and then hopefully overnight all those files will come in. I'll be able to do the conversion process in the morning, and then I'll walk you through the rest of my setup. So should be fun, and come behind the scenes of how I do this kind of work from the road. It's just amazing to be able to have the fortune to be able to do things for my job that I wouldn't be able to do otherwise, and still have the opportunity to travel and be on the road. So see how it goes. So that's always the adventure. I've done this from Thailand before, and sometimes the best laid plans can meet the internet and suddenly get slowed way down. So we'll give it a try and see what happens. So back in the saddle, it's Monday morning, and getting things ready to go. As you can see though, I'm still transferring files. We're getting close now. We've got about 20 minutes left, and the only reason I'm even including this part of it is not to be like negative, oh, woe is me, but to be honest about the fact that sometimes when you're doing technological work like this remotely, that it does present challenges. Yeah, I'm going to do a couple things to get ready, and then I'll bring you in on setting up the studio and all that fun stuff. Got my files downloaded. I'm in the middle of converting them. While that's finishing up, here I'm going to go ahead and walk you through the rest of kind of the pieces I've got to put together here in the studio so we can actually do this. I use a system by this company called Universal Audio, and they sound amazing. So that's why I drag all this extra stuff with me. I'm sure in time there will be certain people who come along and watch this and be like, well, you could do this for a lot smaller, even with the same company with smaller devices. And that's true, but budget is a concern for me at this point. So first thing is, here in this box, I'm going to go ahead and put this up here on the table. And I'll pop this open. This box is kind of like a waterproof box, and it's got just a ton of cables and some of my processing stuff in it. Anyway, so I'm going to get that all set up, and then I've got this other box that I'm going to go get, and I'll bring it right back and set it in place. All right, so I got this other box set up. It's called a Studio Flyer, made by a company called SKV, and what's cool about it is this can go in an overhead compartment in an airplane, so I can actually bring this with me on a flight. And then it's got this detachable lid, and it's got enough space I can bring this 8-channel mixing control surface, which I'm going to use over here. Put that right here in front of my computer, and I've got a companion with it. Here in a second you'll see, but inside of here are these really cool pieces of equipment that allow me to do a lot of my work, and then I'll kind of walk you through what each piece is doing and kind of how it's all put together in the end. Alright fam, so I've kind of got everything in place here. As you can see, there's quite a bit of stuff now on the desk. I did a time lapse of it, but it seemed to have vaporized into the digital ether. So we've got almost all of it set up now. I'm going to walk you through a couple of the pieces, realized as I was setting everything up here that I made one little tiny mistake, which these things are huge. They can actually be a real problem when you're on the road. I'm in an Airbnb. I'm all by myself. I don't have a vehicle, and I don't have a power strip for I have 5 appliances I've got to plug in, so I got to go figure that out. Trusting that that's going to happen, I'm going to walk you through. So obviously I've got the MacBook here, and it's a MacBook Pro. It's not the latest model by any means, but it does a good job. And then connected to that, of course, I've got my awesome trackball mouse, which, as you can see in the situation of this desk, the reason why I use a trackball mouse is that a traditional mouse in this setting, there would just not be enough space. It would be a problem. So having that trackball really helps. Then here I've got my, this is kind of the tail end of my Apollo system. And this is where I plug in my headphones. And if I go in here, this is my volume for my headphones. So that's pretty cool. That is connected over to this box, which isn't on yet, but it has 4 processing chips inside of it. And so, it works in tandem with the 2 that are in the first unit I showed you, the little silver box. They work together, so that gives me 6 processing chips. And then that goes out of here, this huge crazy mess, but it actually goes to this bottom unit right here, which also has 4 chips in it. So now that's a total of 10 chips for external processing. And then that last one is connected to this, which has 6 more chips in it that are actually a lot more powerful. They're newer processors. They're really fast and really, really, really powerful. And then that goes out of there and hits this Thunderbolt cable and goes into the computer. If the system was connected, this would be like a little gas meter here that would show me how much processing is being used from all of those devices. Then I've got this control thing, which some people might think that's a little excessive. Why would you need a control surface that's that large, especially for travel? But I can tell you from doing this particular radio show for 6 years now that I need 16 faders at my fingertips all the time, or I will be struggling to navigate the mix fast enough to be able to catch all the cues and all the changes and all of the things that can happen within the context of making this thing happen in a reasonable time frame. So I've got those. Those are actually connected to this network switch, and then that network switch hits this little Thunderbolt converter and goes in there. All in all, it's a pretty cool setup. If I had a few if I had some more resources available, I could actually have a lot of that permanently wired in a different case. That would make it take a little less time to set up. Hopefully we'll get there eventually, but for right now, this works great. It's really awesome, and it gives me a really, really crazy powerful system to be able to mix on. And yeah, I have taken this similar setup with me on the road to work with different bands. When I've done some touring, I've always been able to turn out this product from the road in a timely fashion. In 6 years, we've had one technical snag that actually prevented that. So I'm pretty proud of that. This is how it gets done from the road. Pretty cool. So anyways, I gotta go find that power supply or power strip and get this thing up and running. I'll turn it on and kind of show you what it looks like once everything's up and running. Haha, I found one. Nothing like the old trusty Staples power strip. It was behind the TV downstairs. They had the little, Roku box and the TV and a DVD player or whatever plugged in. And just snaggled that bad boy, and we're going to be up and running here in no time. Ready to go. I've got everything all plugged in, powered up, ready to rip. So I've got this, this is kind of my mix template that I've developed over the last several years that allows me to move pretty quickly. So I'm not reinventing the wheel every week. The only thing I have to worry about is the different singers and the things that do change every week, which is things like acoustic guitars and electric guitars and whoever's speaking. So I've got all this rolling and about ready to take off here. it's all ready. And as you can see here, this is the control surface. It follows the screen. And so if I push this button, you can see things move around quite a bit. It's kind of crazy. So I'm able to make manual adjustments as I'm going. Yeah, so there we have it. It's looking good. Things are just about ready to roll. Alrighty peeps, well, I'm here and I've finished my mix down. My next part of this is to upload this to my client, and then I also take that and edit it down in a couple other formats. One is for them to distribute, and then the other is to be broadcast on the radio. Things went really smooth once I got all of the files actually here and converted and all into the session. It went super smooth. Things went really well. Anyways, I hope that was fun, getting to kind of follow along and see kind of how this thing works for me on the road. That's going to do it for now. We'll see you later. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you think this is cool. And as always, we appreciate your comments and feedback. It's been really encouraging so far. So cheers. See you soon.